Hi, I'm Coach Amber, and welcome to the Meet RX Success Story podcast. Today we have Will with us. Welcome, Will.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us, when you very first, before you ever started Carnivore, were you having any health issues or any particular reason why you kind of wanted to try out Carnivore?
Yeah, exactly. So I was having a lot of health issues, to be honest. I was very, very overweight, and that brought on diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. And all three of those things were just wreaking havoc on my body before I started the carnivore diet.
Yeah, I think that's a very common story there. Okay, so when you did start Carnivore, how did you implement the diet? Like, what did you eat? What's a typical day for you? Do you include dairy? Do you have coffee? What about spices? Anything you want to talk about? And also, did you have any transition issues, like maybe digestive issues or something along those lines?
So it's actually, for me, I am a little bit on the stricter carnivore side. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 110%. I'm going to give it my all, my blood, sweat, and tears. So when I learned what the carnivore diet was, I wanted to do it the proper way. So I didn't have any coffee. Dairy, I tried to stay away from little bit here and there. That was just a personal preference of mine. Dairy was never something that I could really tolerate anyway. I did it really, really strict. No coffee, no spices, just meat, salt, and water. And for me, I would say a typical day for me, I gravitate towards beef, more so ground beef. I think it's just the easiest thing to do. It's the most convenient, especially for people that are working and they come home late and they don't want to put something together. Just throw a pound of ground beef in a frying pan, fry it up, and add some butter and some salt, and you're good to go. So a typical day for me will definitely in some type of ground beef. I'll have a couple of slices of cheese, maybe something like a goat cheese, something that doesn't have so much lactose, or some Parmesan, something aged, and butter. I mean, everybody on the carnivore diet is in love with butter. I feel like, that's like, aside from pictures of thousands and thousands of years ago of us taking down mastodons, butter is kind of like what's carnivore, butter. So yeah, butter, tons and tons of butter, healthy butter, good butter.
Awesome. What about transitional issues? Did you have anything happen like that to you?
So for me, I always had problems with gut issues. I have always had constipation, very, very chronic. And that was another reason what brought me to carnivore, was to try to completely reset my gut. So I did have a little bit of an issue, and I think it was just a transition of my body getting rid of all the veggies that I was eating when I was on the traditional Western diet. So I did have a little bit of constipation in the beginning, but once that was able to clear itself out, I've been just so much better off. I've had normal bowel movements. I know this is a little TMI, but this is real deal, Holyfield. So yeah, my gut has been so much better now compared to when I first started. And I think it was just my body ridding itself of all the fiber.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I had very similar issues, and that was kind of a shocking thing for me to realize how much better digestion can be, especially after a little bit of transition. So awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now let's get to the really good part. Let's hear about how things have improved for you since you've been carnivore. And I forgot to ask you, how long have you been carnivore?
So I have been carnivore for 4 months now. I think I started carnivore the typical way a lot of people start carnivore, and that's transitioning from keto. So I hit a keto wall. I was on keto for 9 months, and I hit a keto wall. I hit a plateau, and I just needed to shake things up a little bit. And I was very interested in the carnivore diet, and it was the perfect time to make that deep dive. And I'm very, very glad I did, because it helped me bust through that wall very, very quickly and very fluidly. And yeah, so I've been carnivore for about 3 to 4 months now. And I mean, my transition, I lost 170 pounds in 12 months. That's really hard to do without surgery. So I was very, very determined. Again, I was 32 years old. I have 4 children and a beautiful wife. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I was going to be put on 4 different medications, and I didn't want that. I was way too young. So I decided to take back my health. And 12 months later, I am 165 pounds. And when I first started, I was 330. So it's a very, very big change for me.
Awesome. So have you had your blood pressure, your A1C checked, or any of that to see if that has been a big change for you?
Yes. So when I first was diagnosed back in November of 2019, my A1C was 8.7 and my blood pressure was, I think, 145 over 93. It was like something astronomical for a 32-year-old male. So now I actually just got blood work done a few weeks back, and my A1C, which my doctor was completely shocked, my A1C is 4.5, which is completely normal. My diabetes is 100% gone. And my blood pressure is somewhere along the lines of like 117 over like 72 now. So even my heart rate has improved. My steady heart rate back then was like always in the 85s to 95 area. Now my heart rate is 65, 62. You know, I've been able to work out more and jog and exercise more. And my doctor told me that you're starting to get the heart rate of a marathon runner. And that's something that brought a tear to my eye. I never thought I would hear that in my life, but I heard it. And it was all thanks to the carnivore diet.
That is so awesome. I can't even tell you how happy that makes me. That is a huge change, and it was a pretty short period of time. So kudos to you. That's awesome. Okay, one last question, just out of curiosity. Was there anything that surprised you, that improved, that you weren't really expecting or really even thought about?
Yes. Okay. So one thing that I didn't even think about was my energy levels. So when you're 330 pounds, you have energy, but it's not the energy that you think of. Okay. You towards the end of the day, you start to drag your knuckles. If anyone was ever heavy before, you know what I mean. You start to crash towards the end of the day. For me, I didn't realize that I would have so much energy. I work 10 hours a day, my regular job, come home, have time to play with my kids. I do 200 to 300 push-ups daily before bed. And I'm able to go for jogs at 5 o'clock in the morning. This energy that I have is unreal. I feel like a superhero sometimes. And I really, honestly, it's cemented for me how much I love the carnivore diet, and I don't think I can ever go back.
That's amazing. And Will, thank you so very much for coming on MeatRx podcast and sharing your success story.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day. Bye, Will.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.